G'day again, punters. I'm back with another tale from the Toxic Boy Boomer, and it actually continues on a little bit with the tale of the cane. So we did that first one about Mr. Louisiana doing the cane. I actually found some old class photos from back then, and there he was standing with our grade 4 class. But anyway, moving on. So the caning continued, grade 5, grade 6, and then up in high school, they were still caning kids back then as well. And if I remember correctly, the people that were allowed to give you the cane were the subject masters. So, for example, Scholar, we used to call him Sam Scholar, he was the math master, so he could cane you. And there was McGrath, we used to call him Crash McGrath, he was the science master and he could cane you. The art master, who I got on really well with, was Lenny Russo, and he could cane you. Somebody up in manual arts, one of them up there, they could cane you as well. So they got all caned. You could get caned. It really depended. So if you did something wrong in science, chances were that you're going to get caned by Crash McGrath. And another little side story while I think about it, because it's a quick one, is there was another science teacher at the school. He was an absolute fucking lunatic. He was a psycho, this guy. His name was Chuck Powderly. We called him Chuck Powderly. And I can remember vaguely there was something went wrong in a science lab or lining up to go in there somewhere, and he picked this kid up and he hung him on the fucking coat racks outside the classroom. So if you're watching this and you're the dude, let me know, because, yeah, he was a fucking lunatic, Chuck Powderly. But anyway, getting back to the caning. So Crash McGrath could cane you, Sam Scholar could cane you, Lenny could cane you, the English master was, who was he? Well, Spinks took over and he could cane you as well. And they all had different techniques. And Sam Scholar's technique was one of those, and a few of them used to do this. These were the ones that used to think it hurt you a lot more with the cane if they kind of whipped it. So you'd stick your hand out and they'd whip you with it. Okay, and that frickin' hurt. But if you dropped your hand 2 inches, it might quite often missed. So with Sam, you could get away with it. And then the prick decided to do what other ones have done, and that is cane comes through and comes back up. So if you move your hand back or like that, they come back and get you on the knuckles. So there were ways and means to try and, avoid getting the cane and stuff. But we all, I don't think I actually got caned in high school, or maybe I did, I don't know. Geez, I'll tell you, I might have, grade 8 or something. But anyway, but a couple of other bits and pieces to do with caning and punishment and shit like that. There was a kid in our class, it must have been grade 7, it must have been the first time we were ever in a science lab, and here's a guy, McNabb. Phil, if you're out there, mate, you can remember this. We're all in the science lab, so Phil decides to stick his mouth over the gas. There were little gas taps on the benches where you put your Bunsen burner on. So Phil, in his bloody fucking wisdom, stuck his mouth over it and turned it on and gassed himself. So he was falling on and that. So what Crash did, we had him for Crash was our science teacher. So what Crash did was he picked Phil up, took him to the windows, we're on the second floor by the way, and hung him by his fucking ankles out the window. Try and get the lungs back, capacity back into his lungs and bring him back to life. And it succeeded. So yeah, they were fun times back then. But unfortunately what happened was we had a change of principal. I'm guessing it was probably Form 3, might have been Form 4. I was in grade 10, maybe Form 4. So the principal we had, he moved on, and I think we got a new deputy as well. So the principals took over, and this new guy turned up. He was from Canberra. Fuck me. So he decided to come in there and decides he's going to ban the cane. Right? Now you'd think everyone's going, yippee, yay, what have you. Well, actually, no, it didn't work out like that, because what he replaced it with bloody detention. There was detention, but then he decided to make detention was it. So rather than have a choice where you could say, I'll take 4 thanks and get it out of the way, or I'll take 2 fucking hours of detention on a Wednesday afternoon, which means you didn't get home till about 6 at 5:30. You had no choice. You just got chucked on fucking detention on a Wednesday afternoon, and you got stuck there sitting in a room doing whatever you did for a couple of bloody hours. And you know what? They never asked us. They never ever said, we're thinking of getting rid of the cane, we're going to have a vote, we're going to ask all the kids and see what they say. They never friggin' did it. The bloody bureaucrats and the fucking principal, they never consulted us on it. Because we would have to a person and said, no, keep the cane. Fuck this. We'll get it out of the way. It hurts, a bit of pain, but it's all over in friggin' 5 minutes. Certainly beat that bloody detention bullshit, but that's what happened. The cane was banned. It was still around in other places. I think the Catholics were still using it. I can remember years later as a teacher, I was able to use it in a Catholic school. But back then at our school, good old Wagga Wagga High School, that's when it stopped. No consultation, straight from the cane to detention. Very, very disappointing.